Hello and welcome to week 3 of BA231. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the things that I've seen over the first couple of weeks as I've been grading. When you are doing your homework, please try to start earlier in the week if you can. I've had a few people who it looks like they've almost just ran out of time and not been able to finish. So again, I would encourage you to start, on Wednesday or Thursday at least if you can. I realize life happens and sometimes that's not always possible, but if you can, please start earlier. With the lecture responses, what I have seen from those generally look pretty good. So keep up the good work on that. Just be sure to watch those and get those in before the middle of the week because that's when they are due. And then also to make sure that you have the word count in there. Again, the word count is to make sure that you are developing your thoughts. And also when you are writing your lecture responses, please be sure to comment on the lecture, what we talked about, what you learned from it, so I can make sure that it's clear that you actually watched it. And then with the discussion questions, I'll also get your initial post done by Wednesday and your second post or your 2 response posts done by Sunday. Those all need to be a minimum of 70 words. I'm not going to word count everything. If it looks like there's enough there, then you're going to get credit as far as that aspect of it goes. But also on your initial post, a lot of people are not giving references. So please cite a reference in there. I love to have your thoughts in there. That's awesome. That's what we want to see. But we want to say, hey, I read this. Here's how I interpreted it. Don't just give us, I looked at this on this website and then copy and paste it. That doesn't do any good. Anybody can do that. Give us a little snippet and say, this is what I read about the topic and here's how I interpret it, and then give us that reference. So let's start with week 3. So as you can see in week 3 here, we're going to be doing chapters 7, 8, 9, and 10. There are some practice assignments here that can help you. And then we are going to have a discussion, lecture response, and an assignment. We've already talked about the lecture responses a little bit, so once you watch this, please write that, talk about what I talked about, what you learned from the class, or excuse me, what you learned from the lecture. And then let's look at the discussion here for a second and talk about that. So this week, the question is, we learn about many of the other things you learn about in other classes, like offering discounts to your intermediaries and allowing returns. So we've been going in class for a couple of weeks. You can kind of see what's going into accounting. Allowing returns and discounts can take a little bit of extra work. So do you think that that is still necessary and a good idea? So as you're going through this, if you have any personal stories or examples, that's awesome. Great. Please feel free to share those. And if you can, or please tie those to accounting. Actually, don't if you can. You need to tie those to accounting. You need to explain why you think it is a good or a bad thing. It's a good thing from the customer service side. I get that. But do you think it's worth it on the accounting side to have the extra steps that your accounts are now required to monitor that, track that, do your month-end reconciliations? So as you're going through, please comment on that. I want to talk a little bit about discounts. I've had some people in the past that have been confused with discounts. It's not necessarily a discount like, hey, we're having a sale, everything's 20% off. If any of you have ever worked in manufacturing or anything, you may have seen an invoice where it comes in with like 210 net 30 or something on there. It'll have like a 2/10 and 30. What that means is the 2 is your 2% discount. You get a 2% discount if you pay that within 10 days. Sometimes it's 110. I personally have never seen anything greater than 210. That's not to say that it doesn't exist, but you'll have your 210 net 30. And then what net 30 means is you have your 10 days to get your 2% discount. If you don't pay within 10 days, then you have 30 days to pay it, but at 30 days, that's 100% due. With my experience, I've seen a lot of times, let's say that your invoice is for $2,000, you can only pay $1,000, you're still going to get part of a discount on that. You're still going to save basically your $20 on that $1,000. So you can get that, but that just depends, and that can vary from company to company, but that's more what we're talking about with the discounts. So go through, tie that to any experiences you may have had, give us your opinion on whether discounts are good or returns are good. I personally think that they're a really good thing. Both of them are, and I've seen it from the accounting side. One of the things I'll comment about it on the discussion post, probably if nobody else does, is that discounts are great because you're thinking, well, why would I want to offer a discount when everybody has to pay me within 30 days anyways? Not everybody's going to pay within 30 days, unfortunately. And if you have a company that you're working with that you don't know about, granted, you're going to have some bad accounts payable. But if you offer a little bit of a discount, sometimes that's enough to incentivize people to pay early, which is going to get you your money early, and you're not going to have to worry about collecting it later. So that's just one point to bring up. So that's a discussion question this week. And again, initial post done by Wednesday and 2 responses done by Sunday. Always have between 70 to 100 words. Again, right here, it clearly spells it out. A minimum of 2 replies of 70 to 100 words. And then your initial one right there as well. So if you have any questions about any of this, by all means, please feel free to reach out to me. So now let's go down here. There's a quick video here for common writing mistakes. Look at that. I guess that's another thing too that I've noticed when I've been grading a few of the discussion questions is pay attention to grammar. That is part of the grading rubric. So when you're starting a sentence, it needs to start with a capital letter. If you're starting it with the, it needs to be capital T-H-E, not lowercase. I, if it's just a standalone word, as in I am or something like that, I needs to be capitalized. I know there are little things like that, but we want you to get in the habit of writing professionally. So that's why we're monitoring things like that. And then you will have your Module 3 assignment. So this week for your assignments, I want to talk a little bit about those. So again, we're covering the 4 chapters, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you're going to have problem 7.5, problem 8.5, exercise 9.5, and exercise 10 or 10-25. Sorry, not point dash on all those. So as you're going through and you're doing that, again, start early if you can. I want to cover a little bit about each chapter in the next few minutes that we have. So with chapter 7 here, you're going to be going over fixed assets and natural resources and intangible assets. So a fixed asset is something that's just, it's a fixed amount, just like it implies. As you read the chapter, I think that'll make that pretty clear. Your natural resources, with the homework this week, we're going to be talking, I believe it's with lumber. I'll get to that here in just a second. So another natural resource is natural gas, or just, regular gas, propane. It's a natural resource. It's something, basically that comes out of the ground or from the ground. And then your last thing is your intangible assets. The big one that we'll talk about with that is goodwill. So I want to scroll down here to the bottom and click on the problems here and go to problem 7.5. So you're going to be talking about amortization. So it's kind of like depreciation. It's not the exact same thing, but you're spreading costs out over a period of time. And then you're going to be talking a little bit about goodwill. So again, goodwill is that intangible asset. So goodwill is basically what you paid above and beyond what something is worth. And the book does a good job of breaking that down. So with your instructions here, you're going to be talking about the amortization, depletion, and impairment for the current year. And I got chapter 7 pulled up here. So not a big problem. You'll be going over the cash flows a little bit, your goodwill, your patents, your accumulated depreciation. So not a lot to fill out there. Again, please be sure to watch for those little red boxes to make sure that everything is right. Or excuse me, the little red asterisks to make sure that you have everything right. Everybody's been doing a pretty good job on that, but if you type something in and it's wrong, you can see that little red mark's going to show up right there. So just watch for that. And then also it's going to let you know your score up here as you're going along. So those are a couple of helpful tools to make sure that you are looking for. Let's go on to chapter 8. So liabilities and stockholders' equity. So liabilities are basically money that you owe to people. So your accounts payable, maybe it could be your rent, it could be your gas, it could be a long-term loan for a truck that you own on your company. So with this one, let's scroll down here to problem 8.5, and I want to talk a little bit about that. So scroll down and you'll see problem 8.5 is dividends on preferred and common stock. So I remember when I was going into accounting, I knew a little bit about stock, but I had no idea what it was. So preferred and common stock, there's pros and cons to both of them. So with your preferred, you're going to get your dividends a little bit earlier, but with your common, you're also going to have some other advantages to that. So it just kind of depends on your situation on which one you're going to learn. But it breaks it out here, and then you're going to have to figure out the preferred dividends and your common dividends. So like I said, preferred dividends are generally paid before any common dividends, and that's what you're going to be assuming on the problem here. Assume the preferred dividends are paid before any common dividends. So if you have enough money to pay dividends, you pay your preferred. If you don't have anything after that, then your common doesn't get any. You're always going to you're always going to have to pay your preferred first. I've got chapter 8 over here. You can see basically here's your total dividends, here's your total preferred dividend, your preferred shares, your per share total. So you're just going to break that out and then you'll sum it up here. So that's all you're going to have to do on that one. Let's go back to chapter 9. So metric analysis of financial statements. So this is something that is getting to be really popular, and this is something honestly that you'll be able to use for the rest of your life. You might be taking this class thinking, I'm not going to be accounting. What am I going to get out of it? There is so much that you'll get out of this class that you can use later down the road. One of those things that you can learn here is analysis of financial statements. So eventually, if you guys don't already have retirement accounts, when you go out, you're going to get your jobs. You're going to start investing and saving for retirement. You can't just throw a dart at the wall and pick that company. I mean, I guess maybe you'll get lucky. It's like winning the lottery. It's going to work out for you. Odds are it's probably not going to. So what you need to do is be able to analyze those financial statements. And that's what this is going to help you do. You're going to go over that, but you're going to be able to do some vertical and horizontal analysis. It'll break that out. Common size statements. So it does a really good job of breaking all of that out. And then you are going to have exercise 9.5, which gets to your income statement analysis like I was just talking about. And with that one, you're going to be doing your horizontal analysis of the income statement. So it's going to give you your sales, cost of goods sold, and then it's going to talk about doing your horizontal and your vertical analysis. Excuse me. And then you have to draw some conclusions. So let's go here to 9. You'll see how it has your amount of increase or decrease in your percentages. And then right here it says what conclusions can be drawn from the horizontal analysis. So this is your interpretation of the analysis that you just performed. So there's not necessarily a, hey, this is the answer. That's a 100% right answer. It's not the answer is 7 or something. This is, you need to interpret your analysis and give that to me. With that, don't just say, I looked at the analysis and I think this is great. Okay. You need to explain what you got out of that. Give me some examples of something that you really liked. And that's what you'll fill out in box B here. And then let's go to 10. So accounting systems for manufacturing operations. So you are going to be looking at some profitability report, from a manufacturing operation, and you'll be doing exercise 1025. So let me scroll down here and talk about that with our last couple of minutes. So with this one, you're going to have activity-based costing for an insurance company. So you're going to go through umbrella insurance companies, and you're going to look at their 3 major insurance lines: auto, workers' comp, and homeowners. So they're looking at this to see their administrative expenses and why it's making their certain lines profitable. So you're basically trying to decide which one is more profitable. So you're going to do your activity-based usage, and it's going to give you all of your information that you need to do right here. And then on the template here, let me pull that one up. You'll see everything's filled out for you designed really well for you to figure it out. And then you're going to have your underwriting income as a percentage, operating income as a percentage. Again, you get the red asterisk if it's not the right thing. But then your key in your answer here. So basically interpret the report, kind of like the last one. Talk to me and tell me a little bit about, hey, this is what I learned from the report. This is what I think about the auto line, the workers' comp line, the homeowners line, something like that. You need to give me some detailed information here about what you learned. So that's what we have for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I think you'll really enjoy these assignments. I find them kind of fun to do, just to look at different things. And it gives you some really good practice with Excel as well, which is always key, because basically every job out there seems to use Excel now. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you run into any problems, reach out to me or somebody at the school. We are more than happy to do whatever we can to help you. Thanks, and have a good week.